It's the church's motto is not "have it your way," and the church is not known to be particularly flexible, but we're trying to be as flexible as possible. So the two areas of kind of flexibility and choice are which rite am I going for? Am I going for confirmation, reception, or reaffirmation? And then, can I be here in this building at St. Timothy's on June 7th at 7 p.m.? Those are the two things you kind of should be asking yourself. And we can have offline conversations about all those, and I can help you describe which one of those rites. I can't really help you with your calendar and whether or not you can be here on June 7th. If you know that you can't, then tell me, and I can put you at another church the week before or the week after. So the Ricksons here, they are going to Ashburn on June 1st, and they are going to be confirmed and received at St. David's in Ashburn. Hugo and Gio, same thing. The rector there, really nice. He said, the more the merrier. I would, in my perfect world, everybody would be confirmed here. But if that's not the case, then there are other churches that would be glad to have you. And it's all good in that sense. So again, that June 7th, 7 p.m. And if you're on the fence, you don't know exactly, maybe I want to be confirmed, maybe I don't want to be, I'll put your name on the list and we can take it off. It's harder if you come in at the last second because the diocese, they're going to want the forms in about 10 days and everything. So, did I see a hand up here, Frederick? Or?
I didn't catch the time.
Yeah, June 7th at 7 p.m. So that's a Saturday, another variable. Our principal service for that weekend is going to be on Saturday at 7 p.m. So that's another wrinkle, but that's the only time the bishop is going to be here. And so, the sacramental quality, he has to do that. You can't do that online. You can't do that via live stream. And so, and we can talk more about that as we go through it. You don't have to come to all these in person. You can come online. John, please take attendance for me. I'm just joking. But I just want this to be as meaningful, as full as it possibly can. And the point of doing this is that I want you to be as present as you can on June 7th or on June 1st. And so it's just like a funeral or a wedding when, why do you do the rehearsals? Why is it such a big deal? You do it so that you can be present on the day of. And so you can be fully there, so you're not worried about this, that, or the other. So you're entirely embodied during that service, and you're ready to be there. You can always back out, and everything, and we'll go from there. For curriculum, so I thought about this, and I was thinking we've got this big class, and people are coming from all these different directions, and there are tons of books that you can find online. Faith Confirmed, Walk in Love in Spanish, My Faith, My Life. There's all these books that you could buy, and I thought about buying 40 copies of them, handing them out, and then I thought, Charles, when you teach this class, you will never follow those books, and we don't have enough time to really go through them, but they're great books, and I'll send you the links to them if you feel like, gosh, I really want to know. I really want a comprehensive catechetical, so if you're really into that. Instead, what I'm going to do is hand you a prayer book, which may be less exciting than a new fancy book, and they will be not only a prayer book, but a used prayer book. And you might have your own, in which case, you don't have to take it. But this shall be our textbook, and that's really, and we have tons of these. St. Timothy's is always ready for a revival. We have tons of Bibles and throughout this building, and so these are yours to keep, or if you'd like to hand back, or if you want to keep it for a little while, all the above. And so your prayer book, it should be marked in and done all those things. So that's that. Evelyn, do you think I should tell the story that I told last night? Do you think that's a good one? Yeah. So Evelyn's already heard this story, but this is This is a story about, what is confirmation and one way to understand it. And this is courtesy of Bishop Gulick, Bishop Ted Gulick. He actually lives in Ashby Ponds, and he is a very frenetic speaker. I won't do it in his voice, but I want to give credit to him. And so the story goes like this. I'll tell it in the first person just to make it more lively. So my name is Charles, and I live in a cul-de-sac, and next door to me is a really nice person. His name is Jeff. Jeff lives next to me. I'm a little bit older, getting long in the tooth, and Jeff is so nice. Jeff mows my lawn for free. He shovels my walk. He picks up my mail. He clears the snow and everything. Jeff is just so nice. Then one day, I die. Very sad. And I have all this money, and instead of giving it to my own family, guess what I do with it? I give it to Jeff. And I have this will where I write down on the will all my assets and all my millions and all my bank accounts and the house are all going to go to Jeff. And so that's in the will, that's in the probate court and all the estate and has to do that sort of thing. It's sitting there. But Jeff doesn't have it yet. Jeff doesn't know this. What does Jeff need to do in order to get that money? Okay. Think about it when you buy a lottery ticket. You buy a lottery ticket and say you win millions. What do you need to do in order to get those millions? Claim it, right? Okay. Until then, are you a millionaire? This is the existential philosophical question. You've won the lottery. You're in the will. You're ready to go, but you haven't claimed it yet. You see where I'm going with this? That's what confirmation is. Confirmation is when you claim it. Okay. Imagine a bishop saying that. It's much more resonant. So you, by virtue of your baptism, and all of you here are hopefully baptized, you're already a millionaire. You've already been given this incredible gift by your parents, probably, before you were even born, or after you were born, before you could even understand it. You were given this gift. The way I described it last night was that since then, so in Evelyn's case, 14 years, in one of your case, 40-some years, in other case, 60 years, God has been holding his breath, waiting for you to claim this gift. You are already loved, you're already cooked, you're already fine, you're already a full member of the body of Christ. All you have to do is claim your inheritance. And that's what confirmation is. So you do not need to perform for me. You do not need to show me that you know something. All you need to do is show up and present the ticket, and claim it. And say, I'm in all the way. So that's speech number one. You wouldn't be here if you didn't already worthy of being confirmed. Like you're enough. You don't need to learn more to do that. It's just a matter of claiming it and confirming it. Okay. Enough on me for just a second. How about we go around and we say, last night with the youth, we did your name, your high school, and your favorite and least favorite thing about church. You guys got some good answers. Let's do name, how long you've been at St. Timothy's, and favorite thing about church. Let's reuse that one. So when you do this, we'll pass the mic around, and make sure the mic is on, and even if you could turn back and look at the camera and say like this, just because they can't see you if they don't have that. So, my name is Charles. I have been at St. Timothy's for 3 years, and my favorite thing about church is that moment in the offertory when people bring the plates up. I love that. I think that's always, it moves me so much. So I'm going to pass this to Barb here.
My name is Barb Goldsworthy. I've been here about 9 months. My favorite part in going to church is feeling a special place where I can connect with God, where I can connect with fellow parishioners, and I'm finding that here.
My name is Frederick Rose. Excuse me, Frederick Rose. I've been coming to St. Timothy's for 1 year and 3 months. My favorite is communion, the sacrament.
Terry Dominiak. I've been at St. Timothy's for 6 months. My favorite thing about church, and particularly this church, is the sense of community.
My name is Jeff Bloomfield. I've been at St. Timothy's, I think like 3 years. I don't know, it's pandemic-y time. And my favorite part about church is the amount of love I feel within this space.
Hi, my name is Evelyn. I don't know how long I've been here. And one of my favorite parts of church is the music.
Hello, my name's Jackson. I've been here 13 or 14 years, I don't know exactly. And my favorite part is I'm gonna have to go community as well.
Hello, my name is Anita. I want to say the first time I ever came to First Timothy's was probably about 14 years ago. And my favorite part is just feeling that presence of God.
Hi, my name is Betty. I've been coming to St. Tim's for about 5 or 6 years now, and my favorite part are the sermons. I like the messages that are brought across, and I think they're very peaceful and
coming to St. Timothy's for a little over a year, although I was baptized here 18 years ago. And my favorite thing about church is the sense of peace that it brings to me.
My name is Carol Sinclair. Coming to St. Timothy's for probably about 30 years. And I would say it's the people in the church.
I'm Rob Weezar, been at St. Tim's for 10 years, and my favorite thing about the church is the traditions and the celebration.
Good morning, my name is Karen Peck. I was brought here 13 years ago by my now husband, Garrett Peck. I promise this is not schmoozing, but Father Charles. And the unconditional acceptance that I feel here.
Hello, I'm Ellie. I'm the seminarian. I'm here to learn. But I've been here for about a year, and my favorite moment in the service is the epiclesis. And if you want to know what that is, if you don't know what that is, I am always happy to talk about it.
And Ellie, could you tell us how far apart your baptism and confirmation were?
I was baptized as an adult, which is also a story that I'm happy to talk about, not taking up all of this time here. So I think I had only about a year or two between my baptism and my confirmation. They were very connected for me.
Good morning, my name is Stephanie, and I've been coming to St. Timothy's for 3 decades. And I think my favorite part is the sense of family. When I walk in that door, it's a sense of peace and just feeling a sense of belonging. So I love that. And that's my favorite.
Good morning, I'm Florida Tilden, and I've been here for 40 plus years, so I've seen a lot of changes, and it's good to be here with Father Charles and his transition, and I love the fellowship, and that's why I come.
Hi, I'm Garrett Peck. I've been here for 21 years or so, a little over 21 years. I love this church for the sense of community and the fact that as a fellowship in Christ, that we really put an emphasis on serving others and serving our community. And I encourage you all to come join us in the service committee.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I've been coming here for about a year, and something that I really love is the organ.
Hi, I'm Connor, and I've been coming here my whole life. My favorite thing about church is communion.
My name is Keely, and I've also been going here my whole life, and my favorite thing is when everyone sings together.
Hi, my name is Colleen McAtee, and I've been coming here since I was a kid. It's probably been about 35 years, and I'd say my favorite thing about church is probably the music.
Hi, my name is Christine. I've been coming to St. Timothy's for 35 plus. We won't get into how many years. And my favorite thing about it is, like Stephanie said, family. And of course, what Gregory said is community. Those are the things that draw me here.
Hello, my name is Paul Koza. Christine and I got married here almost 33 years ago. I like being able to serve the community and volunteer.
Good morning, my name is Hugo Lembert, and I've been coming here for the past 2 years. And what I love about this church is its strong sense of community and acceptance.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Tagnisi, and I've also been coming here for 2 years, and my favorite part is serving as of them and listening to the sermons that we get each week.
My name is, where's the camera, by the way? There's two. Hi, my name is Brooke Nunley. I've been here a little over 2 years. I followed Charles here. And my favorite part about church is gathering and being in community with one another, especially that we have like one thing in common, but we come from different backgrounds, plus the jokes. I'm here for the jokes.
I'm Jermaine Senior. I've been here a year and some months. Don't know exactly, but my favorite thing about church, got a couple, community. 'Cause, you know, I'm a special education teacher, so I love community. The messages, because you know you always get something out of it and take into your week as a teacher, and you're making a difference, and just communion.
My name is Greg Rickson. Wanda's been coming for about 6 years now, but I've just recently been able to join her on Sundays. My favorite thing about being a Christian, quite frankly, not just this church, but is celebrating the Eucharist and truly understanding what that means.
I'm Wanda Rickson, and I actually started here as an employee, the parish administrator, in 2019. Retired when my granddaughter was born, came back for a service. Charles was preaching, he was our priest in charge at the time, and realized that this was the place to be. Fellowship, community, and the sense of peace and calm I have when I'm here. So it's an extraordinary place.
Thank you all. That was really incredible. And I wish we could kind of go on and on with hearing more from your stories. You might ask yourselves, is this the largest confirmation class ever in St. Timothy's history? And luckily, your rector has a fascination, near obsession with our history. And so I think I can answer no, that like sometime in the 1950s, there was, I think 45 or so, but I think we're getting close. So think about this room, plus the youth, plus the people, plus the Spanish, we're gonna get close there. So I'm kind of a little sheepish when I fill out the forms for the bishop, and it's just going to keep going and going and going and going and going. But I think it shows signs of our health as a church, and obviously with all of you. And it's just such an interesting, coming from all these different backgrounds. The Ricksons, they worked in their professional lives at the Washington National Cathedral. There's folks here from all these different paths, and we're all, like Brooke said, we're all coming in, and we're all going to, we have one thing in common, and that makes me really happy. A little bit about the different rites, and this is what happened 2 years ago. Oh.
The Budniks are online. They've been on since Easter. They've been here since 2024, and they really appreciate the sermons.
Yay! So Liz and Damien Budniks, they sit back there with their beautiful child, Charlotte, and so they get checked off the list here. Here we go. That's great. So 2 years ago, we had the bishop came, our bishop came, and we had about 9 confirmands, and we were sitting in the conference room, and I was really nervous. Everyone was in a tie and everything like that, and it was the first time I was here, and the bishop was here, and I was super, super nervous. And we get in there, and he asks the group, so what's about to happen? What is confirmation? Crickets. The longest 15 seconds of my life, like just everyone's just like, it's like one of those questions that is too broad, and thankfully, thank the Lord, Johnny Ellis started talking, he's a vestry member, he's a talker, and he just started talking about the apostolic succession or something like that, and it just filled the silence, and was not the correct answer, was not what he was looking for, but it was something to fill the silence, and so, confirmation, according to our prayer book, is a mature affirmation of faith. Confirmation is a mature affirmation of faith. And so the big questions you come is, what's mature? And so in seminary, they teach you, when you're thinking about youth confirmation, what's the cutoff line? When are you mature enough? And the answer is, who knows? When are any of us ever mature enough? What's an affirmation? What's faith? And so go with that definition, but hold it real gently, a mature affirmation of faith. That's what we're doing here. And that's in the case of confirmation. So the service is pretty simple. It'll just be like a normal Eucharist, but then, did you have your hand up? No. And then at some point in the service, we'll do the confirmations kind of like how we do baptisms, and people will come up, and the bishop will place his hands, in this case, on your head and say this prayer and that sort of thing. If you're looking for reception, it's slightly different. And reception means that you've been confirmed in another tradition, another Christian denomination that believes in the apostolic succession. Ask Ellie about that one. So basically that, the hands coming down, you can trace it all the way to Jesus. It's kind of amazing, And so if there's other denominations that believe in that, we believe in that. And so if we say, you got it, you've already been confirmed, you're being received into the Episcopal tradition. And so you don't get hands on the head, you get a handshake. And so you're received into the tradition. So I think Barb's doing that, Gio's doing that, Christine, lots of former Roman Catholics are doing that. And if you come from a denomination and you're not quite sure if they believed in the apostolic succession, then we'll do some homework for you. Then there's reaffirmation. And reaffirmation, sometimes folks do a renewal of their wedding vows. We renew our baptismal vows. Reaffirmation's kind of in that ballpark. If for whatever reason you feel like that you want to do publicly your confirmation, your reception, again, and so I think everyone could do that, it's the type of thing it's open to all, and so that's a slightly different one. Most of you are here for confirmation, some of you are here for reception. I think we got 1 or 2 reaffirmations, and it's all good, everything. Okay, another story. Ready? This is Bishop Jones, another Bishop David Jones, another bishops from the Diocese of Virginia, glorious past. And so imagine if I'm the bishop, and it's the day of your confirmation. You're a group of youth about to get confirmed. We're all in the parish hall. Everyone's nervous. And I ask you, who is getting confirmed? And everyone's supposed to raise your hand. So raise your hand. You're getting confirmed. And so then I'm the bishop, I ask, who is doing the confirmation? And so you point at me, right? So then, there you go, thank you. Then, this is the thing, this is why you get paid the big bucks as bishop. He goes, you're wrong. The bishop isn't doing the confirming, you're doing the confirming. You're confirming the promise that your parents made for you at baptism. Promise that was made to you that you didn't have this cognition, so you're confirming that. I could be doing that, but you're really doing it. And then since it's Bishop Jones, he would go up to a kid, and I asked him about it one time. He made sure it was a really popular kid, and he goes, "Who's your best friend?" And the kid would say, "Johnny." And he goes, "Do you talk to Johnny every day?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Jesus is your best friend. You should talk to Jesus or your best friend too." It was really, really good. Really good the way you said it. Again, it's better when he says it. So, okay. Those are my 2 stories, Bishop Jones and Bishop Gulick. If you're following along here on our little sheet, we're almost down to the prayer book. Yep. Oh my golly. We're at 9:45, 9:36. Okay. So we'll get through thank you, Rob, for doing that. Everyone got one of these right here? Something that looks like this? Okay. If you don't, then I think there's more on the back there. The information about confirmation is on page 412 of your Book of Common Prayer, and it says that mature affirmation. Here's some other ways of thinking about the difference between baptism and confirmation. So baptism is vows said on your behalf. Confirmation, you say those vows yourselves. Baptism, you're welcome into the church. In confirmation, you're sent out into the world. And that's an understanding of confirmation if you're like a teenager. So the thought process is that baptism, we recognize you, and then confirmation, we're punting you out the door. For a lot of you, that's not the case because you're not going through that. The reason there's so many of these is because people don't quite know what confirmation is. Confirmation is never in the Bible. Jesus never says, you should do confirmation. It should be a mature affirmation of faith. It should happen when you're 16. If you're not 16, it should happen, so there's all these efforts to try to figure out exactly what confirmation is. One way of looking at it, and this is just one way of looking at it, that in baptism you're made a part of the Christian church. In confirmation, it's like you get your passport as an Episcopalian. That's another way of looking at it. You don't have to, if that's helpful for you, that's really good. If it's not, then don't. This one, baptism is in the Jewish tradition is circumcision. That's a mark of your identity as a Jewish person. And then confirmation is like a bar mitzvah. Again, that's not in the prayer book, it's not in the Bible, but that's just, if you think about it, that's one way of thinking about it. This is the one that's correct. Number 5 there, down the list. Baptism is full initiation into Christ's body, full stop. You're baptized, you're cooked. There's no promotion. Even when you wear the collar, you get ordained, you become bishop, you still haven't graduated from being baptized. Baptism is it. What confirmation is, it confirms what's already there. It's claiming it. And it's not confirming you, but it's confirming your baptism. That's my fave. This one is like this is what we usually think of it as, and it's actually wrong, but it's fine. That baptism is like halfway there, and then confirmation gets you fully there. That's like a booster shot. That's, again, one way of looking at it. In Christian formation circles, confirmation is used as a way of keeping teenagers in church. You know, like we won't confirm you until it's a different method. Bishops love confirmation because that's when they get to be fully seen. You know, and there's all sorts of different things around that. Okay, let's stop there. We're not going to get to all this, unfortunately, and I'm going to ask if anyone here has any questions. If you have particular questions or comments about your confirmation, reception, or reaffirmation, please do come to me, maybe not after this, but at some point. I really do want to get the paperwork started on that, but I don't, it is really important to me. But anything else? Any other questions before that? Does anyone know, it's written there on the three-legged stool. I put it too much on there. What are the parts of the three-legged stool? There's scripture, tradition, and reason. Okay. Did everyone get a chance to do the pre-test there? If you didn't do it, hand it back to me. I'll send it to our statistics people, and they'll pop it out, you know, and we'll come up with a little bit of a better way to do it. What's that? Yeah, you can give them to Wanda if you've already done them. Otherwise, this has been fabulous, and come talk to me if you've got a question. Yeah, prayer books. Come grab a prayer book too. There's one.